So as far as 2023 and a half CVO with the Road Glide here, my positive sides to this is going to be the performance. So the thing that I love the most about the performance on it basically falls into the electronic side of the bike. I know a lot of people were super skeptical about the electronics just from what we had seen the year prior to the bike coming out. Everybody was super concerned because electronics always have issues and stuff. And with me being in the aviation industry, we deal with electronics all the time. Obviously, tech is changing, aircraft change as far as tech as well. But what I really like about the tech side of the bike is the modes for the performance side are probably about 4 months into having the bike. We were coming out of Branson, going back down into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we got caught in a hellacious rainstorm. And the thing that was super, super cool about the bike was being able to switch over the mode from being in mode A or mode B, but being able to go into the rain mode was just really, really good. I mean, it's so cool how it changes the dynamic of the bike. Being able to take out the engine vibration, being able to lock in more on the ABS side. I mean, the whole nine, just the technology behind it is super, super cool. So that's my first positive. I love the mode change. I love that we're able to go in and program mode A and mode B, which I think is very, very phenomenal. My second positive is about the suspension. You know, Harley talked about doing the inverted forks and then coming back and doing some stuff in the back and the rear suspension. I think Harley did a really great job as far as the suspension, the adjustability in the rear, to be able to get it dialed in for you and your passenger. And then obviously on the left-hand side of the bike, we have the adjustability of the left side for your luggage once you start adding more weight and stuff. So super positive there. And then the third thing that I really love about the bike is the VVT, right? So the VVT obviously changes the whole dynamic of the engine, because now we're getting performance on the bottom end of the engine and on the top end of the engine, which I really enjoy. You know, there's times, as we all know, as being motorcycle riders, there's times that we'll run into situations where somebody pulls out in front of you, or you might need to get up and get around. And the hand and eye coordination of that, and having to switch gears and do all that stuff to be able to get up and around, or whatever the case may be, the VVT kind of helps you be able to pull through those situations or areas, which I really like. I mean, just the low end torque on this thing is phenomenal, high end as well. And it feels like the bike is, as far as the VVT, it feels like the bike is a point where it can have a whole lot more potential. And it's like it's just capsulated in there. So I'm super excited to see what's to come out of a lot of these motorcycle gearheads that really deep dive into these engines and try to figure out how to make them perform better with the way they're set up now, without having to go through cam replacements and all that other stuff, heads, lifters, whatever it is. So the fourth thing that I really liked was, when I first got the bike, there wasn't a lot of stuff that we could do to the bikes just due to it being such a new model. There wasn't a lot of products to be able to buy. But one of the things that I ended up purchasing was the 10-inch windscreen from Harley. As you can see now, I have the Clockworks 10-inch windscreen on there. Phenomenal windscreen, really, really great windscreen. But the 10-inch Harley windscreen that they came out with was really great. And the thing that I liked about it the most was also the benefits for the passenger. So what I see as far as the difference between, now of course I haven't had my wife ride with me with the 10-inch, but when I switched over from the 10-inch Harley to the 13-inch Clockworks, my wife started to experience more buffering on the top of her helmet, which she wasn't experiencing on the 10-inch. Unfortunately, I ended up just recently putting this 10-inch on, so maybe potentially we might have a little bit more updates on this later on. But that 10-inch windscreen was really phenomenal. It looked decent. It didn't have a tint, like a dark tint to it, so it was kind of clear, but overall it was a great windscreen. It protected the rear passenger, which I like. Obviously, we know the saying, happy wife, happy life. So number 5 for me is going to be the fuel efficiency. Man, I mean, just kind of have to circle back to the beginning when I talked about the performance. As far as the modes and adjustability, I've been able to go in to the modes and dial in where I'm probably getting about 15, anywhere from 10 to 15 more miles to a tank than what Ron was experiencing. We would go on some trips and Ron would say that he has to pull over and get fuel. And I'm like, man, I still got another 80 miles. And he's like, man, I'm right there. I'm fixing to have the fuel light on. So I love the fuel efficiency with it. I have done some other additional upgrades. I did the Power Commander, which we know is basically, it is a system that deviates around the ECU to be able to get into the performance of the engine. I put that unit on, very great unit. The positives to that unit was it took out a lot of the, what I would consider back pressure, kind of where the engine has more backfire when you're coming into those lower gears. It basically removed that out. It basically took the engine and put it into more on the performance side, got rid of the roughness in the engine. I think really it was helping with what we probably would see as the EPA restrictions. So those, being able to deviate around some of those on the Power Commander was a great positive for the motorcycle. Right now I'm currently running the ECU impact wiring solutions. That is a direct replacement. So remove the Harley ECU and install the direct ECU from Impact Wiring Solutions. I mean, we'll get into more of that later, but for right now, those are the top 5 reviews that I have. And then we will switch over and we will get into the 5 negatives of the Harley 23.5 CVO coming at you shortly.